Now, here's a cube representing 6 dimensions of strategy. We have cost leadership versus product differentiation. We have leveraging versus selling the brand. We also have various degrees of vertical integration, from minimal vertical integration to high vertical integration. And then for horizontal integration, which I will remind us is not the opposite of vertical integration, but an entirely different dimension of strategy, companies could be horizontally integrated in a very minimal way or in a more robust way. And then we also have, is the company growing, or is it in a status quo holding pattern, or is the company actually in retrenchment mode, which often companies do when they file under bankruptcy protection, or they are approaching to file under Chapter 11 protection. And then is the company mainly drawing their revenue from the retail or the business-to-business market? Now, there's nothing new about these 6 dimensions of strategy. However, what we've done here is that we put them together in just one slide. So in a taxi ride over, if your company is a public company, you look at the various financial documents that are ubiquitous on the web, and you're able to figure out some of the things that the company is doing but has not necessarily announced yet. Now, here's how companies work, and this is very high level. Company has a mission statement, and then what do they have is they have a strategy, and that strategy yields financial results. But the cube method is about reverse engineering financial documents to figure out the strategy or changing strategies of the company. So when companies start, they go from mission statement, then they have a strategy, and they have financial results. But the cube method is about the exact opposite, looking at the financial results and then reverse engineering and figure out, hey, what is the company doing? Are they staying true to the mission statement, or are they drifting from the mission statement? So people in the know, like our audience today, can reverse engineer financial documents to even discover competitor strategies. And I've had clients trained on the cube method that during the interview process, they start discussing the strategic threat of the company's competitors and how they might respond to that. So imagine telling the interviewer something interesting and useful about her own company that she did not realize prior to meeting you. So one example might be, I noticed your products are gradually commoditizing. Is there a strategy to combat that, or will you change your strategy to accommodate this trend? And then the interviewer will say, well, how do you conclude that? And you would respond, by noticing your margins over the past few years. Another example using the cube method, you could say, it seems as if your company is preparing for a big acquisition. And the interviewer asks, why do you say that? Well, I noticed your liquidity ratios are through the roof. And then finally, another very straightforward example, you might say, it seems as if your company is getting ready for a big expansion. And the interviewer responds, it's interesting that you say that, but why do you think that? There's been no announcement. Well, your cash flow statement has huge negatives under the investment category. Now, these 3 illustrations are things that are easily discovered by looking at the income statement, the cash flow statement, or the balance sheet. And for a public company, these statements are ubiquitous on the web. So again, just to revisit, here is the cube covering the 6 dimensions of strategy.